Hello everybody, and welcome to Section 4. Here we're going to talk about water use and scarcity. This is covering water generally, not just groundwater, for this section. So, how do we use water in the entire world? See the breakdown here between agricultural, white, industrial, purple, and domestic for blue. See, for average of the entire world, 70%, vast majority, is agricultural use, 22% is industrial, and less than 10% is domestic household use. So for less developed countries, low and middle income, so-called second and third world countries, even more of it is used for agriculture and comparatively less for industry, as opposed to high-income countries where we use most of it, including us here in the United States as part of the high-income countries, for industrial uses, less for agriculture, and significantly more, fractionally, for domestic use. So taking agriculture alone, how are we using water for this? We, as in worldwide, everybody. So looking at this, right, 45% here, light blue, is the water which is effectively used by the crops and which actually gets to crops. The rest, entire 55% here, is lost somehow, either on the way to the farm as it's being distributed or as it's being applied to the crops. Just one more time. More than half of the water used in agriculture is not used on the crops at all. It is just pure loss, just gone. Looking worldwide at scarcity of water, so the green areas, places where you have little or no water scarcity, places which are yellow, that are sort of getting close to the line as far as water scarcity goes. You have your orange areas, including those in Phoenix, Arizona. You have water which is physically scarce and not very present, but for whatever reason, the area is able to get water elsewhere. Then you have the red areas where water is scarce, not due to physical, geologic, hydrological reasons, but due to a lack of resources and infrastructure to be able to collect and distribute that water. So my personal advice, I'll keep this brief. If you're looking at places that you're going to live out the rest of your life long term, pick an area in the green on this map. Do not pick an area that is in the orange. Do not pick an area that is in the yellow. Do not pick an area that is in the red. Just my advice. Let's take as one example Mono Lake, which is up here, past the Sierra Nevada mountains, California. Somewhat centralized, and actually this is used for Los Angeles, which is sort of down here in this little nook, directly south. Actually, 300 full miles south. Starting in the 1940s, water was used from Mono Lake, diverted to Los Angeles, again, a full 300 miles away from LA. Mostly used domestically, and this has led to a substantial decline in the level of Mono Lake here by 1990. Subsequent endangering of the environment there. You can see just a little bit, there are all these different creeks which feed into Mono Lake, Wilson Creek, Mill Creek, and these over here. All of these creeks feeding into the lake were diverted to LA. Again, a full 300 miles away along this LA aqueduct. Sort of series of canals going to here. So most of the use here for Mono Lake is used domestically, household, individual use, used in homes. It's safe to say that without this source of water, Los Angeles would not have been able to grow the way that it had. There's no way the economy or the amount of people would be living there. And even now, right now, 2021, it is still supplying about 30% of the water needs for the roughly 4 million people who live in LA proper. We'll take another example. This is the Aral Sea, or what was the Aral Sea. I'll go ahead and move me out of the way. See, 1989 to 2008. Something happened here. This is between Kazakhstan in the north, Uzbekistan in the south, which I call the Soviet bloc, former Soviet Union countries here. Water was used for agriculture during the reign of the Soviet Union in the region. It was once the world's fourth largest lake, and now it is almost entirely dried up, kind of sad remains of it. Ships, which once were in the entire sea, right, body of water big enough to be called a sea, completely dry, completely without use. We'll take another example here in Mesa. So this is a planned project, development project, Cannon Beach. The idea is that it's going to have a 3.3 acre surf wave lagoon for recreation for surfers who might have come to Arizona but missed the beach life, scheduled to open in May of 2022. Take a moment. Water is a scarce resource. Who is this benefiting? Whose best interest is this in? Is this sustainable long term? I'm not going to answer this. You are perfectly capable of answering this for yourself. Just something to consider. We do live in a desert. I have a couple more shots of it here, planning-wise. Moving on, we have our big ideas. So what are our big ideas as far as groundwater? Well, the first big idea, so the last numbers in the access code are 0, 4. So you need to be familiar with ideas from the first section on groundwater, the second on substance, and the third on carbon dissolution. It hurts to mark every single section of this one as being important, but really every single section is important. This one might be the least important here for the final section, but really, I would recommend making yourself especially familiar with the ideas in this particular unit. That is all. This is our final section. Bye-bye.